from place to place, place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It is Monday, 29th July 2024, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi, and of course it's always a pleasure to be coming with you this morning, whatever you're doing in your morning routine, whether you're getting ready for work, puttering around in the kitchen, or even in the garden. It's always a pleasure to be coming to you, bringing you information about things happening in and around Tobago. And of course, it's a beautiful day to be in the land of the living. We're just coming out of the weekend, and so many things happened over the weekend, and we're very, very interested to find out all the beautiful and wonderful things that you got up to. But before we begin all of those conversations, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds.
The news is brought to you by Standards. At Standard, nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, July 29th, 2024. Gave Sunday clinched the title of 2024 Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch competition last Friday at the Chopin Complex. She performed We Come Back and Rootsman Rock Me, scoring 636 points. Zari Kerr secured second place with 622 points, while Caston Cupid took third place. Sandy's performance in the vintage category received significant audience support. She expressed surprise at her victory, attributing her success to thorough preparation and God's support. Into some news of crime, another shooting incident has occurred in Tobago, leaving a 41-year-old man in critical condition with a gunshot wound to his neck. The incident took place on Friday night along Gardenside Street in Scarborough. Residents heard a series of loud explosions and found the injured man bleeding on the roadway, with another known in the community nearby. Police and emergency services responded swiftly, taking the injured man to the Scarborough General Hospital for treatment. However, the swift response from police officers led to the arrest of a 41-year-old suspect. Police are continuing investigation. And finally, Minister of Energy and Energy Industry Stuart Young has been appointed to act as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for the first time, while Dr. Keith Rowley attends the 47th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community in Grenada. Accompanying Rowley are Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown and Attorney General Reginald Amor. Meanwhile, at the opening conference, CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett emphasized the need for tangible outcomes to ensure regional development and prosperity, highlighting support for Haiti stability. Outgoing CARICOM Chair and President of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Ifran Ali, called for greater investment in border security to combat drug trafficking and transitional crime. Additionally, Curaçao has become the newest associate member of CARICOM, joining Anguilla, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, and Turks and Caicos. Curaçao's Prime Minister expressed gratitude for the inclusion. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Get your quality furniture and appliances at Standards. Frigidaire gas range $599. Serta base and mattress $1,899. RC 50-inch smart 4K TV as low as $2,599. Yes, at Standard, nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Welcome back to the morning show, and thank you, Biana, for our news there in 90 seconds. And you know, Biana, there's so many things happening on the weekend, you know, and even in the news this morning, we're hearing about another gun-related incident taking place on the island of Tobago. But this morning, I want to focus my discussion on the Olympics, Paris 2024. You know, Team TTO is there in France, and you know, representing us here in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know, funny enough, the major discussion over the weekend was about their fits. That was the major conversation of all the things that they're going there to do, and the fact that Trinidad and Tobago is living in a proud moment. People are talking about their outfits, and there were so many opinions. I too have my opinion. I'm sure you have your own. And you know, I was looking through all the comments that were posted on social media, and I came across a video of a content creator talking about what does it matter? What does it matter? While some are saying other countries are representing their culture and representing their countries and islands so well in terms of their outfit, somebody's saying what does it matter? Because he's thinking now that these athletes, should they come on social media to see what type of support they are getting from back home, and all they are seeing are all these negative comments, which can probably put a damper on their performance. What is your position where that is concerned? What do you think about that?
Well, as you said, what does it matter is the performance out there, the attire. I mean, yes, we are represented, and based on the designer, who is a local Trini born, he was saying so much effort was put into, you know, creating this design, and I think the negative comments could, as you said, contribute negatively to the performance of the athletes out there. So let's not focus on the attire much, but more focus on the performance out there.
That's right. And you know, we have some of our commentators, our local commentators, who are based right here in Tobago, and you would think that they are in Paris, you would think that they are in France right now, you know, bringing the reports to us. But of course, as you said, you know, let us focus on the things that are positive. Let us continue to lend support. They are there representing us, all of us here in Trinidad and Tobago. As you're aware, I am not there participating or representing on a national stage, so there's no way I will criticize anybody who has put themselves forward and put in all the hard work and dedication it takes to qualify for the Olympics. I mean, we have to be proud of who we are. You know, things happen. People, there's no way you can please all people all the time. And so what we have to do is just really lend our support to our team as they go out there and represent Trinidad and Tobago. So all the best to Team TTO there in Paris, France, representing Trinidad and Tobago at the Olympics 2024. Thank you, Biana.
Yes, sir.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have to celebrate with those who are celebrating. So we're going to head on over to our birthday shout-outs. And first up and on screen and celebrating, actually it's a belated birthday this morning. We're celebrating with Dexter Sandy. Dexter Sandy celebrated a birthday over the weekend, and we want to say happy birthday to him this morning as he celebrated and continue to celebrate. We say happy birthday to you. We pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you enjoy all the celebrations of a birthday. Next, it's the man. Just in case you don't know, this is Collis Hazel. He too celebrated a birthday. It's a belated birthday for him as well. And we want to say happy belated birthday to you, ACP Collis Hazel, celebrating probably over the weekend there. Yesterday actually was his birthday, and so we say happy birthday to you, and we know that the celebrations are going to continue. So we wish you the very best in celebrations. Andrea Bona, she is celebrating her birthday today, and we want to wish Andrea a very happy birthday. Andrea, coming to you from all of us here at the Tobago Updates television family. We do pray God's blessings upon your life, and we do hope that you have a wonderful birthday and that you celebrate all week long. Happy birthday to you. And belated birthday greetings go out to Telly Denoon. Yes, Telly celebrated yesterday, was his birthday. And Telly, we also want to say happy birthday to you as well. We pray God's blessings upon your life as you continue to walk in purpose. We pray that you find joy in everything that you do and you continue to serve with pride. Happy belated birthday. And rounding up our birthday celebrations, a belated birthday again, Dr. Verlene Bob Lewis. She celebrated on Saturday, 27th July. And we want to say happy belated birthday to a wonderful, beautiful woman. You know, of course, working in purpose, affecting the lives of many impacting lives. And so we want to say happy birthday to you. We appreciate you so much. And we pray God's continued blessings upon your life as you continue to celebrate your birthday. So happy birthday to you as well. And of course, to everyone who's celebrating a birthday, even if we don't have your photo, we say happy birthday to you as well. And remember to always give God thanks for another day, another year, another opportunity to write a new chapter in the book of your life. Give God thanks for life, because no man can give life unto himself. And of course, it's Monday morning, so you're wondering what's in my cup. What's in my cup is sponsored by LCJ Delight. This morning I'm having sorrel and bay leaf tea. Yes, LCJ Delight is based there in Signal Hill. and you can contact them to get all types of tea and porridges for your breakfast, as well as pancakes and waffles and all the flour to make these mixes. So contact LTJ Delights to get your cup of tea. All right, so you might be wondering, who are we speaking with this morning in studio? And we begin our conversations by speaking with our friends from the TTPS. Yes, we speak with Senior Superintendent Rodil Kirk and, of course, Sergeant Brent Batson, as they bring us the TTPS weekly update. As you know, we always have discussions as to what transpired on the island over the past week, so we're going to have those discussions. And later on, we speak about road safety. Arrive alive. Yes, a very, very important topic this morning. And then we speak with John Arnold, a man who wears so many hats, you know, arranger, composer, and all sorts. This morning, he's speaking in the capacity of producer of the Tobago Star Quest. So we're going to have that conversation as well this morning. And we do hope that you stay with us as we go through all of these conversations today. And of course, I want to say a special good morning to all of you who are viewing us, whether you're viewing us on our Facebook live stream, on YouTube channel, or on Amplia 102. We say thank you so much for making us your number one choice and making us the number one morning show here in Trinidad and Tobago. We appreciate you so very much. We have to go for a short break before we begin conversations in studio, and as we go, we invite you to help us share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Get ready for the I Choose Sport Summer of Sport. And we're bringing the action to Tobago on Saturday, August 3rd. Win great cash prizes in our football tournament and show off your track and field skills. Have fun with our traditional and novelty games, bouncy castles, giveaways, and so much more. Meet some of our Tobago sporting legends up close. It all happens at the Montgomery Recreation Grounds from 10 a.m. on Saturday, August 3rd. See you there.
Said I'm falling, falling, I'm falling. As I lay in my bed with my head to the ceiling. Say I'm drowning alone and I'm lost in my feelings. Somebody send me a sign, cause you know that I need it. Carnival, come back to me, cause you know you're my healing. I said this okay is my therapy, therapy, my therapy. It take away all of my anxiety, my remedy. I tell you that we all need love. Jump up and show me love, wind up and show me love. Together till we are.
Pam Star Promotions and Charns Bookstores are happy to bring the 2024 New Wave Maths Championships to Lowlands Mall, 8th to 10th August. Participants must be between ages 9 to 12 years. Lots of prizes to be won. To register, call 471-2604. For the best prices on school books, WhatsApp 471-2604 or 371-4824. 3 lucky students will win their book list for free.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
I can't live without you, I can't be without you for too long. Cause when I'm around you, I feel like the heavens has come down. I feel it in my soul every time we on the road, it's a miracle.
with a smile on your face. When you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you for staying with us. You know, it's Monday morning, and of course on Mondays we always speak with our friends from the TTPS, and this morning we have in studio with us Senior Superintendent Rodil Kirk and Sergeant Brent Batson. This morning we're going to get our weekly updates as to what happened on the island of Tobago, and of course speak on a special topic as well. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning, Adana. Good morning to your listeners. Good morning to your viewers. Well, to kick things off, what I could tell you is that during the week we had some successes. We also had some unfortunate situation. One of them in Scarborough on Friday night, we had a shooting incident. Thank God that the police were out on patrol in the area at that point in time, so they were able to, respond quickly. And I know that based on the investigation so far, I know that an arrest is imminent. Right? The victim in that shooting, he's reported as being stable. So again, thankfully that it wasn't a worse of situation than what it actually is. We can also tell you that our officers, through intelligence-led policing, had retrieved 1 pistol and 5 rounds of ammunition during the week. And what we recognize that the person of interest in respect to that is a person who is currently out on bail for a capital offense. And these are some of the things that we notice, that the trend that most of our problems are caused by our repeat offenders. So our police strategically target our priority offenders. And you're going to see going forward, we are going to relent. We are not going to ease up, especially in the situation around Scarborough, where we have these guys fronting with other businesses like they are doing, but they are doing the illegal things. We have already started to treat with it, but we are going to seek assistance from the public health and all of that in treating with these illegal vending and those persons who congregate in these hotspots in Scarborough. So this is something we are working on. So I just want to let the public know that we are treating with that. Other than that, the Heritage Festival, Plymouth Juve, and all the other activities over the weekend, we have no reported incidents. So that is, the police were out in their numbers, and everything went well that I could see. So I have nothing much to report. In addition to that, we have our exercises ongoing, and you could see my colleague, Mr. Batson, travel all the way from Trinidad. I know you are hearing talk on the ground that, it's oppression, but I'm saying that we are enforcing the law. And when we don't do it, people say that the police is not doing what they are charged with the responsibility to do. Now that we are doing it, people are saying that we are unfair to motorists, etc. But the exercise is not only geared towards motorists. They are doing their thing in respect of public safety, road safety, etc. We are doing our thing in terms of managing crime and criminality throughout the island. So I just want to give way to my colleague, Mr. Batson, here, to see what they're about in Tobago, in the Tobago space.
Sure. Thanks, Commander Kirk. So, this is a joint road policing exercise. So it's TTPS as well as the licensing authority. And even though I've seen a whole set of memes already coming up, or the the white shirt devils here, and doing their thing, But as Commander Kirk mentioned, I want everybody to understand that our job is law enforcement. The TTPS does not legislate. Our job is to enforce the laws on the books. When it comes to the use of the roads, for you to operate that vehicle on that black carpet, as we call it, you have to comply with certain regulatory requirements. Our job is to go out there, apply it, and make sure everybody's complying with those regulations. Now, whereas we agree that, it's hard times and people, are saying that, these tickets are expensive and this and that, and we understand that. And in most cases, actually, people don't even know that how much warnings we give as per the amount of tickets we actually dispense. But there's certain things that we cannot let slide. A good example was over the weekend, Juve festival in Plymouth. We had a DUI team that was outside there, and we arrested and charged 3 drivers for exceeding the breath alcohol limit of 35 micrograms. It is too serious. Go. So persons have that ability of operating that motor vehicle on that roadway is so serious because you affect other people's safety when you do the wrong thing.
And I want to get into this conversation a little bit later. Before I get in there, I want to marry the two the projects that you guys are working on in terms of how the trafficking or your policing impacts the intelligence in terms of sifting out criminals who might be in these same vehicles. We're talking about the roadblocks and as you rightfully said, they call them the white shirts or whatever. They have their projects to do. You have your assignment to do. How do you marry these together in terms of detecting when you implement roadblocks? A lot of people are crying out, roadblocks are not the solution to solving crime, right? But how do you justify or how do you bring that measure of public trust and comfort in the fact that, listen, these roadblocks are actually contributing to TTPS apprehending or even finding or getting more information in terms of where the criminals are. We have arrested criminals as a result of the roadblocks, or we got more information as we had these roadblocks. We were able to interrogate people as a result of these roadblocks. Are we getting those types of results as a result of the exercises that are ongoing now?
I would say yes, because when you look, even self, you may not see it on a larger scale in Tobago where firearms and so on are recovered. When you look at in Trinidad, that has happened over the week and over the weekend, several firearms and ammunition were retrieved during these road exercises. And I'm saying it's not geared towards, as people say, making money. No. Criminals move from point A to B and they are not using an aeroplane or a chopper. They are actually either moving on foot or in some modes of transportation, either motor vehicle, motorcycle, etc. So whilst in fact that the traffic enforcement officers are doing their thing, I'm seeing quite a lot of firearms being recovered by persons who are doing traffic exercises. And that is because when they do the traffic exercises, the other parties that are involved will also do the searches of the vehicle. And they will recover firearms and ammunition. So this is all about, if you look at all the recent shootings, even within Tobago, a vehicle was used. A vehicle was used to get away. So, and when you look at the caliber of weapon that they're having is high-powered weapons. And nobody can walk in the street just like that with a high-powered weapon. They have a vehicle that they're moving in. So I just want to tell people, to fix it, you may be inconvenienced a little. And just give us the chance, let us do what we are paid to do. This is what you have been calling upon us to do all the time. And they always have this thing. I want to make it clear here. There is no Tobago police and Trinidad police. We have the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. So at times, officers from Tobago will be in the space, likewise. So it's not to say, well, okay, we distinguish it. They are here to support us, and we will give them the support that they need. And his one aim is to eradicate crime and criminality from the space. Right? So that's why we are here. And
I do hope, of course, the collaborative efforts will bring the results, as you mentioned earlier, in the success stories that you have achieved over the past couple of weeks. And so I continue to, speak with our listening audience, our viewing audience, to cooperate with the police. We always say on this station, this channel, every time we talk with the TTPS, if you see something, if you know something, say something, because they are here to assist all of us while we try to fight crime here on the island of Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to continue talking about fighting crime on the island of Tobago, and we're going to speak specifically to the trafficking issue on the island of Tobago. So stay with us, and as you stay with us, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books and shoes.
Javel? Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. Up to $20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information. Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the Morning Show on Tobago Updates Television, and thank you for staying with us. We continue conversations this morning, speaking with representatives from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Services. We're speaking with Senior Superintendent Rodale Kirk and, of course, Sergeant Brent Batson. We want to take the conversation now into trafficking. Right, and we started speaking earlier about how the police who are managing the traffic and, you know, doing the roadblocks and the searches, they have been able to support and assist in detecting crime and finding weapons and all sorts of things that are transported, as Senior Soup mentioned, that of course they take these high-powered weapon in some sort of vehicle. And, you know, as I mentioned, also people complain over the weekend, especially as the licensing officers were here, and I'm certain that they're working in collaboration with the TTPS, enforcing the law and ensuring that persons adhere, their vehicles are roadworthy and all these types of things. And so people are crying out and saying it's a humbug. Senior Soup, you always say it's going to be an inconvenience. But the main objective here is to detect crime, to apprehend criminals, and to ensure that we live in a safe space. Sure. And so now we're talking about road safety. We see a lot of vehicles, one, that are not roadworthy, and we see people using the roadways in a way that is very dangerous and hazardous to pedestrians and other vehicle operators as well. So we want to have that conversation as well this morning and talk us through. First, we need to be reminded of the speed limits in certain areas, because I don't think people totally understand or get this. And what are the fees or that would be imposed on them. Earlier you mentioned driving under the influence is not a ticketable offense, it's an arrestable offense. So I feel as if people need to get this information cemented in their minds, that they understand the law properly and that they are mobilized into action, because we take so many things for granted. So let's just have that conversation in terms of detecting or managing the way we use the roadways here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Sure. Well, I also want to mention the fact that, you know, even with our road policing efforts, you know, the public has to understand what that ultimate goal is. As you correctly said, you know, it's injury and harm prevention on the roads and, of course, general. But what we're doing with these roadblocks is disruption. The criminal element, just like anything, is a business. And you have a business plan. So they plan to go up and hit this one and target this one. But as Senior Soup mentioned, they need to use your road. Mm-hmm. So by us having these constant roving unplanned, you don't know where we're going to be. You don't know what time we're going to be out there. We are disrupting that element. And that's what we're trying to do. We're deterring those elements. Don't even think of coming out there. Because you don't know, one, we're using marked, we're using unmarked vehicles. So you're not too sure where we are. And that's really how we're trying to utilize intelligence-led policing to know at what time to deploy these resources. But more important, let them know there's serious consequences, breaches. In most cases, let me give you a good example, as you mentioned, because the enforcement levels. When we are outside there just doing a usual road check, remember we're using technology different, technology-based interventions. The ticketing devices now that we have real-time feeds into the licensing database for driver's permit information, of course, as well as vehicle registration information. And in one scenario, we had a vehicle that we stopped that had a tampered chassis, right? So this guy actually has an illegal or unregistered vehicle on the roadway at this point. And again, it means, why is it unregistered? The insurance is not invalid because it's not a really registered vehicle. This man slapped on his own plate onto this vehicle and decided nobody's going to pick up on it. And it's that level, I would say, of boldfacedness that you could just flout the law like that, and something so serious, because people think, well, it's trivial, the man have a license. That's not the point. If the vehicle is involved in an accident, God forbid, pedestrian is hit or something, the insurance, there's no coverage for this. It's not a truly registered vehicle to begin with. So the policy is void, and as far as the insurance is concerned, it was a registered car. So the enforcement goes on every level. It's the same thing with the vehicles with regards to a lot of those persons involved in these criminal elements using these false plates. You know, so and a lot of times you'd find that we are applying a little bit more surveillance and when we're doing our vehicle checks to just make sure this is the vehicle that's supposed to be. Personnel, when we're outside there, we're also double checking persons' disqualification status. A lot of times the drivers of these vehicles, or I call them the bad boy drivers, they have a long ticket rap sheet. And in most cases, they're already disqualified from driving. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to remind persons, we cracked out 11 disqualification letters to persons. These are persons who have been already initially disqualified because they've met that demerit point threshold, and they still continue to drive. So licensing, let them, hey, you have 14 days to bring in that driver's permit, all right? Or now it turns into driving while disqualified, which is another arrest without warrant. Okay, so you come out of the ticketing system and go into the criminal justice system when you commit these offenses. And these are serious offenses. Persons seem to not understand. Once you're disqualified by licensing authority, you cannot operate a motor vehicle, period. The insurance is invalid.
That's right.
And persons are still taking these chances. Even people work in PH who are disqualified.
Now, this is some scary things, because if you are disqualified, whether it's for driving under the influence, whatever it is, you know, falsifying documents, whatever the charges are racking up to for your disqualification, and yet here you are with a vehicle driving on the nation's roads. I mean, this really is scary. And so I'm wondering now how people, as you mentioned, so bold-faced, to think that they could get away with something like this, and now they're seeing it as an inconvenience because they're being detected and the law is being enforced. So is it that we now have a more aggressive approach in terms of enforcing the law, because people seem to have been so relaxed for so long?
Yeah. Again, because the technology that is here now wasn't here 3-4 years ago. That allowed us this kind of real-time surveillance of the system and the status of drivers. In addition to that, persons, we encourage all drivers, go onto the Ministry of Works website. There's an application. You punch in your driver's permit, your date of birth. There's a little security thing that you have to do, and you can check your point situation. Because sometimes people are not aware that the merit point threshold is 10 points. That could be just 3 tickets you got and you hit it. So persons need to be aware. More than likely, letters have been sent out, and there's some people dodging the letters. There, we know that for a fact.
I know that for certain, you know. And there are some things that people don't realize that they can get the merit points for, you know. And I'm not sure if this is one, but you know, sometimes the young men like to have the hard pongs, what they call hard pongs, so loud music while driving a vehicle. Even I understand that there's a new tint law that is introduced today, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if we have more information on that. We could talk about that as well. You know, so I don't know. I feel as if people need to understand the list of offenses that can be committed that will have caused a demerit on their license.
And just another thing I noticed on the Tobago roads at nights, even daylight, you're seeing some pretty lights, some Christmas tree lights.
Yes.
And
very
people
distracting.
definitely don't care. You are seeing the driving, you know, without a care for any other thing with these Christmas tree lights, and we are going to deal with that. You know, so I just want them to know that we are going to come, and you know, they will tend to flick the switch when they see the police. But some of them are even doing that these days.
Yeah, they'll
They'll just continue to go because it started to become like they feel like, you know, they could do it. So those are things we are going to enforce as well. Notwithstanding that it may seem like a trivial thing, the commissioner has rolled out an initiative, a zero tolerance approach to all acts of crime and criminality. So the thing about giving a blind, we ain't going to do that.
Those days are over.
Yeah?
That's right, that's right.
Well, as you always say, careful what you ask for, you just might get it.
That's right.
You ask the police to be out there and apply everything. All right, we coming out. You sure that's what you want? Because if everybody just does the right thing, we'll be good to go.
Definitely.
But some people seem to be hell-bent on going down this gangster road of being a bad boy, not realizing that's TV and movie stuff.
You know, I want to read something that one of our viewers commented on our live stream. They said that, you know, of course, they're always challenging the policing. And this viewer said that some of these charges are unprecedented and you all are making up charges as you go along and it has nothing to do with safety. So how do we respond to this? Because I'm certain that, well, I'd like to believe that all the charges that are being, you know, that you charge people for in terms of the offenses are legal.
Right. So that I just want to clarify that one time. I don't know how he used the word unprecedented there and that, but what I will say is that is impossible. We cannot trump up charges.
Yeah.
We could only issue fixed penalty notices or tickets based on the law. The device is tied into legal regulations that exist on the law books. So that's impossible for us to trump up charges, okay? I just want to be that clear. Now, it may seem onerous. So, for example, what a lot of people, as you correctly mentioned today, and I don't want to preempt the minister's launch of the tint rollouts. And I want to be clear, what they're launching today is a tint sensitization rollout, not an enforcement rollout. Okay. Now, never mind, people had a lot of time, all right, to comply with the law. They're still giving them time, you know, to go and comply. And what I'll try and do is, because we're here for a while, so once you do that official rollout, we are willing to come back to give you some demonstrations on that so persons will better understand the law. Because persons saying, well, why are you all focusing on tint now? You know, you're not running down bandits. Ask the senior soup how much morning reports we get just before the incident. Is a heavily dark tinted vehicle involved in the criminal activity? What you hiding so? That you don't want us to see. So this is one, there are different tools being deployed on how we could, you know, effectively coerce these criminal elements into the light. And this is just one tool.
You know, I always kind of want to agree with some of the approaches that are taken, especially when it comes to road safety. At Senior Soup, you would agree with me when we have conversations about road safety. I'm always adamant in terms of how we use the roads. And of course, now we're talking about the condition of our vehicles and complying with the laws that apply to our vehicles. And, you know, as the licensing officers are here, they're checking to make sure that your tires are not smooth and, you know, and all these things that apply to ensuring that we use the roadways safely. And, you know, sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, we forget there are things like the speed limits. There are certain areas where you can go a certain speed and other areas where you have to slow down a bit. Overtaking and around a corner and all these things that people do on the nation's roads that can, you know, implicate that can jeopardize, rather, person's safety on the nation's roads. And I want you to talk a little bit about that before we wrap this conversation this morning in terms of how do we navigate the road in a safe way, Sometimes I'm driving and I don't understand how I'm overtaken on the shoulder. Why are you overtaking on the shoulder? So we want to address some of those things as well to ensure people understand, listen, one simple mistake that you make on the road can have an effect on multiple persons.
And not only that, because we're based with the Highway Patrol. There's no other unit that responds more to fatal road traffic accidents and serious road traffic than us. And we see the consequences of poor driving decisions, poor road user decisions, because sometimes it involves pedestrians that run in front of traffic. The driver didn't have a chance to stop. So everybody has that role and function in order for injury and harm prevention to prevail. I'm glad you mentioned the speed issue, because persons don't seem to understand one or pay attention sometimes when the roadway speed limits change. Good example is the vicinity by Bonacore there. We're coming off the Claude Noel, it moves straight from an 80 into a 50. You know, and then when you're out there enforcing speed, the people say, "But it's 80." It was 80 back then. You're no longer in the 80 zone. Look at all the houses, you know, residential area now. It can't be 80 still. Come on. Look at all the pedestrians. There's no pavements for the pedestrians in some areas. You're sharing the road with other road users. That guy on that bicycle, that pedestrian has the same right to the road as you in the car. They're part of traffic. You have to drive with that kind of caution on this and reduce your speed. We're surprised and disappointed. We were doing some road check exercises, and there were persons driving with no seatbelt on, straight into us. And then when we stopped and asked the document, "Why not wearing a seatbelt?" Hey, hard luck there, boss. I now drive out there from the gas station. Well, all right, let me give you this to remind you. That's a whole $1,000 and 4 demerit points. But yet it's the most critical part that's going to save your life in the event of accident. And I have to ticket you to put that on? Come on.
Yeah, I feel as if we take a lot of things for granted here in Trinidad and Tobago when we use the roads. As you rightfully said, he said what? Sorry, their partner.
Yeah, hard luck, their boss.
Just hard luck, their boss, you know. And we really do take things for granted. And I feel as if, you know, this saying that we have that God is a Trini, we really abuse that statement. And we just do whatever we want and expect some other force to pick up the pieces in the end.
But then the same persons, when they travel abroad, the first thing as they jump into a car, they will obey all the traffic regulations. You know, but as we on the end, what I want to do is to continue to urge the public to cooperate with us. We have seen that collaboration and cooperation. So far, we have recovered 11 firearms for the year. It may be a small drop in the bucket, but that's 11 firearms. Thinking about each firearm carries about 15 or 18 rounds. That is about, when you multiply it, how much lives are being saved. Although you may see the shooting incidents, it's because of the vigilance of persons now and their quick thinking and calling the police. We were able to charge a few people for some of the shooting incidents. And as long as the public continue to cooperate with us, we are going to do what we are charged with the responsibility of doing. And you should see that level of vigilance. We know that at times it may seem, you know, like overwhelming, but rest assured that the police will come out and do all we are empowered to do. So I just want the public to know that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been speaking with representatives of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Services, Senior Superintendent Rodel Kirk and Sergeant Brent Batson this morning, as they brought information to us as it relates to what's been happening on the island of Tobago, detecting crime, and of course you would see them out on our nation's roads, managing the traffic. Yes, trafficking, policing in traffic this morning and throughout the couple of weeks to come, you know, because of course we have to regulate and ensure that we abide by the law. We have to adhere for my safety, for your safety, and for the safety of all of your loved ones to ensure that Tobago remains a safe space and that we can boast about being the greatest little island on the planet. Thank you so much for staying with us up until this point. We have to go for a short break. And as we go for a break, of course, we invite you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Get your quality furniture and appliances at Standards. Frigidaire gas range $599. Serta base and mattress $1,899. RC 50-inch smart 4K TV as low as $2,599. Yes, at Standard. Nobody beats us on price. Believe it. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special. Wings Friday, £3 wings, 2.5 kilogram fries. Special 100 TT. Soup Saturday, £2 cube beef, £2 cow heel, £2 chicken foot, £2 pigtail, or smoked bone. Special $150. Super Sunday, £3 leg and thigh chicken, £3 sliced pork, £3 lamb slice, £3 cheese, 2 pack of pasta. Special $250. Located Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. We deliver 20 TT. Contact us on deltecdistributors.com 395-5040 or 237-0102. Deltec Distributors Weekend Special.
is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Get ready for the I Choose Sport Summer of Sport. And we're bringing the action to Tobago on Saturday, August 3rd. Win great cash prizes in our football tournament and show off your track and field skills. Have fun with our traditional and novelty games, bouncy castles, giveaways, and so much more. Meet some of our Tobago sporting legends up close. It all happens at the Montgomery Recreation Grounds from 10 a.m. on Saturday, August 3rd. See you there.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books, and shoes.
Javel? Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. Up to $20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning.
Welcome back to the Morning Show on Tobago Updates Television. We're just at 7:48 a.m. So if you're getting to work for 8, you have 12 minutes to get there. Remember to drive safely on our nation's roads. The key operative here is to get there safely. All right, we continue conversations this morning in studio and we speak with John Arnold, a man that needs no introduction. He wears so many hats, you know, and this morning he's here with Dwayne Lyons. And this morning we're talking about Tobago Star Quest. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Right, of course, Men in Black this morning. You know, probably there was a memo somewhere because I too am in black. That's right, you know. And so we're talking about something really exciting on the island of Tobago. And I know, Mr. Arnold, one thing about you is that you always try to find some measure of talent and extract it from people and, of course, help them to develop that skill and put them on a stage, not just a national stage, but an international stage if you can. And so we're talking about Tobago Star Quest. So we want to get a little synopsis about what this this hunt or this quest for talent is about, and who are the persons who can, you know, of course, audition for it.
Yeah, well, I think conceptually, to make it easy, I think since the demise of the Scouting for Talent, that has really left a big gap in terms of affording communities the opportunity to have their participants and so on and their residents the chance to showcase their talent. So I think we have been having discussions, a group of us in the creative field, and we did have some corporate and other agencies that worked with us to finally come up with this branded event called the Tobago Star Quest. And we put this out about maybe a month ago. I think it's about a month ago. And the response has been really, really, really good, I think, community. So the idea is to have shows in various communities starting next Sunday. Next Sunday, he will tell about the various places we're going. But the idea is to have these platforms in the communities. And of course, we're partnering with Tobago Updates, which of course is the premier TV outfit. Right now, maybe if not only Tobago, Trinidad, maybe the Caribbean.
Thank you.
I'll take that chance and say that. Yeah.
We welcome
because
it.
the value is good. And really, we're going to be going into the communities and extracting the talents. And it may have, as you can see on the screen, the Tobago Star Quest. These are the auditions. But right now, you can apply online. If you go on our page, our IG page is tobago.star.quest. Or they can just email us at tobagostarquest at Gmail, right? So really what we're hoping the benefits of this to come out of this would be obviously strengthening of communities, community identity in terms of people coming together and saying, you know, we from here, we from Lansing, we from Castara, this talent is here. We're also thinking that it would also create the platform to allow for persons to have the opportunity again to showcase their talent. And it also offers one of the things I don't think we talk a lot about, the opportunities for others to see some people out there who maybe, wow, that talent, we maybe can use that talent, you know, and giving you even bigger opportunities to create IP value and so on. So that, in a nutshell, is what the Tobago Star Quest seeks to do. We're going to have, over the next 3 months, preliminaries, and these are all going to be taped. And the semifinals will be somewhere in November, and then our finals in December.
And in terms of participating or auditioning, is there an age limit, or is there is it individuals, groups? How do you decide or determine who are qualified to audition?
Well, we really don't have an age limit per se. It's really open to everyone, but the eligibility really is we targeting people that are resident in Tobago. That's the key element of eligibility for the competition, for the activity, right? Is you must be resident in Tobago, because we're really trying to, as we would have mentioned before, really extract that Tobago talent and showcase it, because we know the island is full, abundant.
That's right.
And that is what we're trying to get back and be able to go into the communities and extract that talent. And as Mr. Anna would have mentioned, we're really targeting, we're trying to open it up a little bit with the first 3 weeks. So the first week, August the 4th, we're targeting Canaan Bonaccord. We're doing the multipurpose center down there. So Canaan Bonaccord, and that's the August the 4th. August the 11th, we go in Plymouth Bethesda. And then on the 18th, August the 18th, we heading up to Charlottesville. So we're trying to, in the initial 3 weeks, we're trying to make sure we hit areas, you know, and make it a little broad. And then as the weeks go along, we have other community centers and areas that we're targeting around Tobago, because we're trying to bring the activity, bring the showcase into the communities, because we really want community involvement, and we don't want anybody to say, well, you didn't check us in this area and we have this person. So we're really trying to come into the communities. Instead of trying to bring people to us, we're trying to go to them and really find that talent and let it come out.
And I suppose the talent, it doesn't matter whether it's singing, dancing, acting, whatever it is.
All the categories. Music, dance, drama. Spoken word would be under drama. All the categories. As a matter of fact, if you have a special talent, for example, you remember in the old days, you used to have Honey Juice breaking coconut, doing acrobatic stuff and so on. Even that, you know, as a creative piece of talent, we will accept. What I think is important also is this thing about communities having the opportunity to kind of rally around people. That I think is very good. We have every preliminary round, we will have 3 persons move into the semifinals. So in our semifinals, we're hoping we don't have any ties and we don't have that. We're hoping to have at least 24 semifinalists, and then we go for 12 finalists. Right? What's important, the criteria, of course, we're looking at performance, all the technical skills, the creativity, all those aspects under that umbrella. We're looking at presentation, aesthetics, all the innovative things that you will do to make that. And then we have a category where the audience, the public on the social media can say who they like from the performance that they would have seen. So it's going to be like that. And of course, we have several feedback comments that will come to you to help you not, if even you don't get to move on, it certainly will help you to improve your skills. We'd recommend to you some of the talented people in Tobago you may need to refer to.
And I was going to ask that question, what about the persons who don't move on to the next round? So this is very good that you're lending that measure of support.
Yeah, so we give that support that we can recommend. If you're a singer and we say, all right, well, you need some vocal lessons, maybe Ruby Warner, Carol Warner, one of those persons can help you with that. And then, of course, you can re-audition.
In the same cycle.
You can come back and, once. You just said something, I want to make sure we say it early. So although persons are applying online, for example, we have persons for show 1, we have persons for show 2 that have applied. You can also walk in. So the shows are open to the public, right? So the multipurpose, for example, Sunday in Canaan Bonaccord, you can come in. You can come to witness the show. It's a taping show, but you can come in and be part of the audience. And if you wish to audition, once we can accommodate it at that show, you can walk in. All we're asking people is walk with your track or walk with your guitarist, your keyboardist. It's an audition. So bring your thing and just do your show.
This sounds like really, really exciting stuff, and I'm envisioning what this is going to look like and what the feel is going to be like. And you said you start this Sunday, the 4th. Okay. What time does the event begin and end? What's the time frame?
Right, so we're looking between 2 and 8. So when you come at 2 o'clock, we won't start taping until maybe about 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock. But you remember, we have all the preliminary things. They'll ask you questions about how you're looking forward to showcase it.
That's right.
If you think you'll win, la 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 la.
I see the model here. I see the model here. And I like it. I really like that it was introducing the Tobago space here. It brings a level of excitement, you know.
And that gives people a way to show off before. And after, if they wish to show off again, they can also do that. And then, of course, the show would be aired, edited, and then shown the following week.
Absolutely awesome.
So I think we're looking forward to
it. Not as much as me, by the looks of things. I really am excited, and I want to say congratulations to you, Mr. Arnold. Always a man with a vision.
It's a team, eh?
I know it's a team. I know. One thing I know about you is that you share the praise. And of course, kudos to you and your team, and for the minds that came together to come up with this idea and to introduce this type of thing on the island of Tobago. And I do wish you the very best. I hope that you get the support, whether it's corporate support or whomever has to come on board to ensure the success and sustainability of this program. Tobago come out. This Sunday, they're starting at Canaan Bonaccord. So if you reside in that area, you're from that area, even if you just want to come or close by, or even if you just want to come and view and see what is happening there and get a feel for what is happening there, come on down to the multipurpose center there in Canaan Bonaccord this Sunday from 2 p.m. Just see what's happening in the pre-recording aspect of it to get things kick-started, and of course to get a feel of what is happening there. So thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for introducing this into this space, and I will try my very best to be there just to experience what you are bringing here on the island of Tobago. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but we don't end our programming here. We head on over to GMT, so stay with us. And as you stay with us, we ask you to help us. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tobago is the land of peace and potato. Welcome to Tobago Heritage, the Tobago Old Time Wedding happening right now at the beautiful community of Mariah, Tobago.
It's something that I've been waiting for from since last year, and trust me, this year they have improved.
It's coming like not only a heritage, but like a harvest, where everybody enjoying themselves, and people could take part in the bush back. You know what I mean?
The experience has been wonderful. The weather has been quite faithful to us this evening. The evening is pretty warm, and thus far we are having a wonderful experience.
Nice vibes, nice energy, and I just love this place.
First experience at the Mariah Old Time Wedding, and it has been fantastic, very electrifying. It's good to see the people out in the numbers, and the rain didn't really hinder the festivities. You know, rain only stopped crickets.
I like to see the old time wedding, but what I find is that when they came from the church, the way the crowd was trying to get to see them, they should try and organize something on the street with bleachers or something for the people to sit down and get to see them better, because you couldn't see them so good because everybody run into videotape and take pictures.
The festival has been very exciting. This is our culture, and I believe that the Mariah Old Time Wedding is the crowning glory of our heritage. It's very rich, and it has gained international recognition for very long, and we need to do more to push it forward.
This is my first time ever at the Mariah Heritage. I usually watch it on TV, but my aunt decided to bring me out today, and I must say it's a really nice experience. The church service was very interesting. I really like the Mako lady on the outside. Very funny. I'm really looking forward to the stage production.
My heart is filled with joy to see my son, Cleophas, marry such a geophysically beautiful woman.
Say you said the man get all kind of thing home by you for the wedding. Of course. If me pity I get married and people bring things for me, the right thing to do is to give it to the wedding. Come let me show you something. Where you get this? Below you so house. Me house? You house. So who house again? When me look out of me window before cock crow, as straight as you house me I see.
All this time, you keeping all the food below your house? Below your house still?
I want to be concentrated for all the Lord I thought to come down here. I would like piece of pork, please.
You do wrong, but we can't live so. Yeah. I forgive you, right?
Accept it. Accept it.
And I forgive you and your brother. And I want all to take part in it. Till when the pig out. Till you mean all the thief the pig?
All you?
Me not take all the thief the pig?
Me the right eye eyesight all the time. You can tell me thief pig?
You thief the cake too?
The cake? The cake too?
I'm gonna forgive you, you know. But listen, all you come and do the grand change, eh?
Me no know nothing but that.
Till they are done. I hope I'll choke.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House Assembly.
Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
We love Tobago Carnival!
Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival, we're right here. We're not leave it till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, it's rhythm, steel and powder. This is Tobago Carnival. pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch, we built up.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world. You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Good morning, welcome to GMT, and of course I am Natalie Seeley Richardson, and it is Monday. I know you usually see me on a Friday morning, so don't be confused, it is Monday, and we are going to have an interesting conversation with our guests coming up, but before we go to our news in 90 seconds.
The news is brought to you by Standards. At Standards, nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Garvey Sande clinched the title of the 2024 Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch competition last Friday at the Shore Park Complex. She performed We Come Back and Rootsman Rock Me, scoring 636 points. Zari Kerr secured a second place with 623 points, while Caston Cupid took third with 622 points. Sandy's performance in the vintage category received significant audience support. She expressed surprise at her victory, attributing her success to thorough preparation and God's support. Another shooting incident has occurred in Tobago, leaving a 41-year-old man in critical condition with a gunshot wound to his neck. The incident took place in Scarborough along Gardenside Street on Friday evening, and residents heard a series of loud explosions. They found the injured man bleeding on the roadway, and the police and emergency services responded swiftly, taking the injured man to the Scarborough General Hospital for treatment. The swift response from police officers led to the arrest of a 41-year-old suspect. Police are continuing their investigation. Minister of Energy and Energy Industries Stuart Young has been appointed to act as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, while Dr. Keith Rowley attends the 47th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community in Grenada. Accompanying Rowley are Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown and Attorney General Reginald Armour. CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett emphasized the need for tangible outcomes to ensure regional development and prosperity, highlighting support for Haiti's stability. Outgoing CARICOM Chair and President of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Ali, called for greater investment in border security to combat drug trafficking and transnational crime. Additionally, Curaçao has become the newest associate member of CARICOM, joining Anguilla, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, Turk and Caicos, and the Turk and Caicos. Curaçao's Prime Minister expressed gratitude for the inclusion. And that's your news in 90 seconds.
Get your quality furniture and appliances at Standards. Frigidaire gas range $599. Serta base and mattress $1,899. RC 50-inch smart 4K TV as low as $2,599. Yes, at Standard, nobody beats us on price. Believe it.
Joining us this morning is no stranger to us here in Tobago and, of course, at Tobago Updates, Pastor Clive Dottin. I want to welcome you this morning to GMT.
Good morning. I am delighted to be here. So thanks for having me again.
And of course, our viewers who are familiar with Pastor Dutton, you know that he shares how he feels, and he shares not just what problems are, but ways we can deal with what our society is going through. And Pastor Dutton, this morning I want us to talk about crime. And as we talk about it, I want us to delve in domestic violence for a bit. But let's just talk about crime in general. It's the front page even more than ever. With the use of social media, many of us are more aware of what's going on around us, and of course the negative is often highlighted. From where you sit, someone who's on the ground, someone who is involved in communities, young people, what are your thoughts on where we are at with crime in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, I think there's a sense of denial in terms of crime. I think, almost, sorry to say it, we think there's a magic wand, and we're searching for that magic wand, and as we wave it, crime will go. And I think we are losing the battle against crime. I'm in New York, by the way. I'm doing a evangelistic campaign in Utica Avenue. And what I see here, and I just came off looking at the news online, is that we have had the woman was killed, went to check her property, was the dream of her life, she and her husband, and she was murdered by 3 men. Then I saw another murder taking place, and yet another one that they are verifying. And I hear what's happening in Tobago there, that if you're not careful, you could register your 17 murder today. That guy doesn't come out of the highly critical position he's in. So, number one, we are losing the battle. I want to make that quite clear. Whether we put Scotland or Ireland or Russia or Pakistan, we're losing the battle. So we could put any number of people until we realize we have lost the battle and now we could start back winning, then we are going nowhere. That's the first point I want to make, with malice to none and love for all. Secondly, the amount of volunteers in the trenches, all right, there are just very few of us left. I think if you have 3 or 2 of us, you have a lot. All right, so that is critical to our understanding of what's going on. The other thing is, the big push of crime happens to be the drug trade. And what you have happening, and the first person to tell me this was someone I think you would know, the manager of our rehab center in Moptura. He said, the turfs are decreasing and the drug dealers are multiplying. That's the drug dealers at the lower level of what I call the mafiatic pyramid. So that is happening. Now, what is going on in Trinidad, especially and Tobago to a minor extent? Well, it's not minor extent, it's more from minor to medium.
Maybe not minor anymore.
Right. What is happening is that there are 2 things that people are now talking about. One is what I call cars, as opposed to CARICOM, when it comes to recruiting our young people. And I got this from 2 principals in Trinidad. And then I checked onto a 3rd secondary school and I found the same thing happening. What you have is that the drug dealer in the community where the schools are, all right? Let's say Area X has a drug dealer or a gang leader, and he's appointing Form 4, Form 5 student within the school to be his assistant, all right? Now, what you have going on there, and he's supposed to recruit young people in X's secondary school. But what is happening is that some young people, because of their connection, Leela Ramdreen from the Catholic Social Justice Commission talks about the migratory criminal. So the young fellas now who have their connections within a larger space are going to other schools and recruiting. And as we say in our church, nobody could recruit youth like other youth. And that is a fact. The psychologists bear that out. So you have that situation. But beyond the Trinidad situation, you have the CARICOM situation. All right. And I call it the cars. All right. That is Caribbean Alliance Recruiting Strategy. All right. Their strategy is to move from one place to another. You know, we just had UTCA, which was the Caribbean Youth Congress, and young people have been talking to me. And before that, their leaders were talking to me. What you have going on there is that you have Trinidad gang leaders recruiting in St. Lucia, St. Vincent. I knew since 2004 when I had conducted an evangelistic campaign in Ansimé, Dominica, where 4 men drowned, and they came from St. Lucia, they came from Dominica, St. Vincent, and Barbados. So that's one sub-caste group, if you like, so that you have the alliances there. You have the recruiting and you have the alliances, so that if you have in the Eastern Caribbean,
Pastor Dutton, if I can just interject, the system seems to be well organized. You're talking about recruitment taking place. You're talking about nationals of one island going to another. Is it that the recruitment is to bring back the nationals from the other island to their base, or you recruit to do the crime in that said country?
Well, you're right. You showed great insight there. There are two dimensions there. One is the recruiting people within to operate in the island. And if they show finesse, let me tell you something, they have an evaluation and marketing skill that is second to none, and certainly embarrassing CARICOM. You know, I listened to the Prime Minister and Martin George talk, all right, about homegrown gang leaders in Tobago, of course, but who's doing the growing? I mean, if Trinidadians could, you know, recruit in Antigua and St. Lucia, they wouldn't recruit in Tobago. So the recruitment process has been going on for a good while in Tobago. So that it's only part of the story for the Prime Minister and Martin George to say the crime being done by homegrown people there. All right. There are people there in Tobago who are criminals, who have guns, who run gangs, and they have been nurtured and trained by people from Trinidad and other Caribbean islands. I'm now hearing about a recruit in Jamaica who is a dancehall singer, a software engineer, and I had a meeting recently to deal with the same crime thing, and they brought somebody from Turks and Caicos to have a meeting with me, and they were talking about this dancehall artist who is at the back of some of the recruiting campaigns. And notice part of the lyrics happens to be 6 killing 7, all right? So you have numbers 6 and 7 recruiting, and you have 8 and 9 also. Those are the gangs that are surfacing now. So you have 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. What I'm showing you is that the gangs are operating with impunity. Right. They're operating as if we have no police service whatsoever. Right. And I was stunned when I heard this morning about a shooting on somebody in a critical condition in Tobago. But that is going to continue. Sorry to be the bearer of the bad news until we develop the will. Of course, number 1, the faith in God. Number 2, the will. All right, to conquer this thing and understand we have got to break the back of the recruitment racket and the protection racket. What do I mean by the protection racket? What do I mean is that you have assassins who are protected by people in security institutions in Trinidad and Tobago who not only should know better, all right, but who, are just going ahead. So it's not the gangs by themselves. It's the gangs, you know, with corrupt police. It's the gangs with corrupt soldiers. I rescued a girl and in a police station in Trinidad. Could you imagine that? And the police officer was telling me, you must think you're a family life man. You're a pastor, so you should be a family life man. Get the girl to go back with the guy. But which guy she must go back with? A drug dealer. And who was guarding the drug dealer? A police and a soldier. Now, I'll tell you this, sir. I think we need, we need a foreign force to come in here, all right, to really put stymie and stifle this thing, because it is going fast.
We had in the past, you know, 2 commissioner of police and assistant commissioner of police from overseas, and you're talking maybe we need somebody from outside our country, our system, to come and put a handle on this. But I don't think we want that, because we've tried it.
We don't want that. Well, in fact, before Dwayne Gibbs came and Etwaski, I was on the Police Service Commission, so I could give you first-hand knowledge, all right? At that time, the head of the Police Service Association told us straight, they don't want a foreigner. That's colonial, right. All right? And by the way, when they came here, they was frustrated. No hell, you know. When they came here, I could tell you about that. I know that firsthand. They were frustrated like that. In fact, Edwardski came to my office at Maraval Road, okay? That's a center now, for the fight against crime. God has used me to turn that part of that office into that. And they came to me and they complained. Remember, they had bought a Cessna, a small aircraft. And let me tell you something. That was shut down. They were accused of corruption. They wanted to accuse them of corruption. That's the corrupt people accusing innocent people of corruption. So they were happy to get out. Okay, that is serious. We need to give more teeth to the police complaint authority. We need to, perhaps now it's the time to have the police service commission go full time, as with the teaching service commission. So there are infrastructural issues we have to deal with. There are institutional reform issues that we have to deal with. But I will tell you this, I think the biggest idea, we passing bill after bill after bill, and the opposition cooperated with the government, on the last bill there, was it the whistleblower bill? But I'm saying you need more than that. You have to have a bill, but you have to have a will to implement the bill. And I have said before, for example, that behind every corrupt cop is a politician and an attorney, all right, and a businessman. Behind every corrupt, consistently, I use the adverb, consistently corrupt cop, you have these people there who sit in high places, if you please, mounted upon their metaphorical thrones. And that is what is happening. And if we have to succeed, we have to take some bold decisions. All right? I would tell you.
Who is taking those bold decisions? Because we've heard this time and time again where, even those who are arrested and charged, you hear people say, but that's a small fry, that's a small man, and the police is only going after them, and the ones who really controlling the network are the untouchables. How do we really get to these so-called untouchables and deal with them? Because these are people allegedly of influence who have used their protection, etc. And every conversation around crime, the conversation goes in this particular way, where we talk about the untouchables, the ones who are higher up the ladder, and nothing seems to be, done about these individuals.
Nothing seems to be done because we're in league with them. The IADB, let me come to the challenge here. The IADB, that's Inter-American Development Bank, says that 30% of our economy, all right, has a link with the underworld. Now, these are people, they ain't linked to none of us, so they could speak freely. So the expert is saying, the IADB, that at least 30% of our gross domestic product, all right? Let us say our gross domestic product, the GDP is $150 billion. Our budget is $50 billion, right? Around $50 billion. I don't know where input will go in the next budget, which should be an election budget or election-guided budget. 1/3 of 150 billion is 50 billion. You know what? I've done the maths for you right there. It means that the IADB is saying that the underground trade, including narcotics and illegal gambling, etc., is equivalent to a national budget, which means that the illicit activities actually shore up and keeping your economy in a certain level of buoyancy. It's not the 50 billion, all right, alone. So it's keeping the thing afloat, buoyant. So they have to recognize that. I would suggest a couple of things, if you don't mind. Number one, we need to have constitution reform when it comes to campaign financing, because the godfathers get their strength from the political directorate, and the political directorate is accepting money from them every election to make sure they win the election, because millions and millions and millions of dollars are spent in the election. I think we have got to engage groups like, if we're serious, like the DA and the FBI and Scotland Yard, groups like that. In fact, I would go so far, although Israel is at war, and like a second war developing right now with the killing of 10 in the Golan Heights yesterday, I would suggest to you that the Mossad is a security agency we must look at. But clearly, we can't do it by ourselves. It is bigger than us, all right? The drug trade is bigger than our budget. It is bigger than our security services. The AR-15 weapons have been found in more and more crimes. The AR-15 killed 2 Adventist young people last year, a couple, if you please, and they're found in more and more crimes. The guns are coming in. We're now admitting that there's compromising in the customs, in the custom sheds and what have you there. So you've got to weed out corruption. We have got to hope all right, that the powers that be get the testicular and ovarian fortitude to weed out corruption. We the citizens have to play a role. Let me tell you something. The day 50,000 people in Trinidad get together and march and stage a counter invasion in the communities, it will frighten the mafia and frighten, all right, the powers that be. And that is what we have. Kafra Kambon told me that years ago. And every day I live, I believe that has to happen. The people have got to rise up, all right? No way to just stay in their finger next year when I think national elections are due. But you have to rise up now, all right? And speak truth to power. When I say truth to power, I don't only mean political power, but the awesome power that the drug lords have in the community. I'm saying that is where we have to go. It's a tall order, it's a Mount Everest, but we have to decide to go there.
Right. I just want us to go to a break. So viewers, we are going for a break. And when we come back, Pastor Dutton, I want us to change a bit and look let's talk a little about domestic violence, and then we'll come back to crime in general. So viewers, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
I'm so relieved Javel gave me this money. Now I could enjoy the holidays with my family and not have to worry about monies for bags, books and shoes.
Javel? Who is Javel? She could give me some money too?
Javel is the July-August vacation education loan at Bethel Credit Union. Up to $20,000 to help with all additional expenses during this July-August.
Yes, you heard right. Call the Bethel Credit Union and ask for Javel. She'll hook you up with the money to take care of all your additional expenses this holiday season. Open to new members too. Get up to $20,000 and have a worry-free holiday with Javel. Call 639-8226 or 631-1336 or message us on Facebook for more information. Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
Get ready for the I Choose Sport Summer of Sport, and we're bringing the action to Tobago on Saturday, August 3rd. Win great cash prizes in our football tournament and show off your track and field skills. Have fun with our traditional and novelty games, bouncy castles, giveaways, and so much more. Meet some of our Tobago sporting legends up close. It all happens at the Montgomery Recreation Grounds from 10 a.m. on Saturday, August 3rd. See you there.
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us. If you are now joining us, I am Natalie C.D. Richardson, and you are viewing GMT Good Morning Tobago. We continue with our guest this morning, Pastor Clive Dutton, someone who's no stranger to us here, not just in this island, but throughout the region and the world, if I may say. And we're talking about crime. So, Pastor Dutton, as I mentioned before the break, I mean, there's so much. I always say the conversation about crime it can go on forever and ever. But I want us to switch gears. And because I know the focus is on violent crime, we see the murder rate going up, but I want us to look at domestic violence for a bit. And let's talk about how that is also contributing to the increase in crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And if I may also get your perspective on the reverse of roles. So most times we talk about domestic violence, we talk about the female being the victim. We know that males are also victims, but because of how we are trained in our society, it is something that you hardly hear about. So I want us to talk a bit about that.
Well, let me start there. We hardly hear about it. Well, in the first place, it's less than 10%. Huh? So you might have every now and then a murder. You might have men suffering in silence. Rondell Fields talks about that all the time. But the truth be told, when it comes to the murder, all right, in terms of murders from the acts of domestic violence, the women are the victims most of the time. The fact that the men don't speak out is because sometimes more police officers relate to it. You let a woman beat you, boy. Huh? You let a woman harass you. If I was there, I'd have deal with her a long time. And that words mean a lot. Huh? You mean the fight against crime and the fight against domestic violence. So there's that kind of attitude that, men could abuse women and do them what they want, but the women don't have a recourse. So that is a serious thing. I think in terms of going forward, we need a lot more support groups for women on the ground. Now, we have some very aristocratically organized support groups at the top. But in terms of in the communities, using your community centers, for example, where you could have support groups and where the women are effectively protected, that's a missing dimension. It's a missing dimension in crime. It's a missing dimension in terms of, the fight against drugs, for example, the formation of support groups. So I am advocating for that in a big way and have it implemented in a bigger way than it is being implemented right now. Now, coming to domestic violence, the latest case is from South Trinidad. And I should tell you, Natalie, that latest case was a former student of Southern Academy of Seventh-day Adventists. She went to school there. All right. Now let's look at the issue. She was in a safe house, right? I think we're clear on that. She was in a safe house. She left the safe house. All right. Perhaps she was fed up. Perhaps she felt she's claustrophobic. I don't know. But she left the safe house and went back. And from what the family is saying, the guy and her, like there was some connection. And we have got to watch that in these safe houses. And he agreed to be different. He agreed, all right, to change his evil and wicked ways. All right, he agreed to that. And the next thing she goes back and she's killed. Now, are there lessons we could learn for the latest case? Because she's not the first one to go back and get killed and to fall for the serpentic lies, of the former lover or husband, common law, capital law. So that we have got to educate women. Now, let me tell you the truth. Huh? I don't think in terms of prevention, we're doing a good job either. So we're losing the battle of rehabilitation and losing the battle in terms of prevention because we are so caught up with the murders. We are so caught up, all right, with the rehab dimension. We are forgetting we have a responsibility to young people who are not yet involved in crime, not yet involved in violence, including domestic violence. All right, we have got to look at that carefully. Should we spend more, therefore, in educating our young people, in having a consistent program in our schools? The other thing is, we have got to educate relatives because relatives claim that they go to the police service. In other words, if the police service doesn't show much interest, last year I had 3 cases where people went to the police service and were turned back, like family business. We have time with that. The murders are rate occupying our time. So we've got to look at our protective services and how we could change their perspective in terms of relating to situations involving the family. let me tell you something. My opinion is that a lot of the police stations do a very poor job in terms of relating to people who have a claim. My son is beating me. My son is harassing me. All right. There's violence in the home. My son is threatening to kill me. Some police officers, you could say about that, man. That's a family thing. We don't have time. Now, there are other stations and other police officers doing a fantastic job with this, and they get involved. Now, in terms of changing perspective going forward, we have this talk about soft policing and hard policing. All right. For example, police officers who are involved in community work are looked at soft police. They're involved in the police youth club. They are looked at soft policing. And I think we have got to change that perspective, starting with the police academy in St. James. We have got to change that perspective because a police officer who is involved in going to the schools, all right, and doing prevention work and teaching young people how to make the best choices. They are doing an awesome job. The few police who are engaged in that. But I think we need to target our schools where the police, the pastors, the psychologists get together and form an alliance to really educate the young people. In terms of pastors, in New York appears something called the God Squad. And a former SDA pastor, Beryl Matthews, is heavily involved in it. So they're in the community, all right? They're in the hot spots, the God Squad. And I think the IRO, which I see coming alive, must look at this very carefully. Could we form squads, all right, where of citizens, of volunteers, of retired workers, for example, of men, especially fathers, to come on board with this and set up this organization with the interreligious body, doing it. Because I do it, but I'm doing it because of my own passion and conviction. Because we have this group called COP, which we want to launch in Tobago very soon in Mount St. George. All right? So that I feel the issue of support groups, the issue of voluntary squads, the issue of staging conquer invasion in our communities, no matter how much guns you have and how the gang leaders threaten you. I am saying that no gang leader, I will not allow him to intimidate me. But if he has the power of the devil behind him, and I have the power of God behind me, and the power of God is more effective and efficacious than the power of the demons, I am saying we should not allow those guys to intimidate us because they are winning the battle. And they will continue to win until we have a situation like Haiti. Haiti beckons us, Haiti, Natalie, is at our door, and we must not allow that to happen.
You mentioned the influence of pastors in that program. I want to ask because I know of your work from Friends Forever, you working with the late Terrence Bose at the Marabella Family Crisis and bringing that God aspect. I think conveniently we're a society that we remind ourselves we are religious when it suits us, and other times we behave as though we don't know who God is. And when I say God, I'm not just talking about Christianity, but whatever religion we may have here. How do we use that spiritual influence, right? And when I say that, I'm not just talking about Christianity, but the religions we have present, those who are spiritual, those who have a relationship with that superior being. How do we use that influence to effect change? Because many people will say, when a day of prayer is called, I can't do anything, that's not solving anything. But coming from you, do you think that if we really channel energies and those who are from those sects can really have or effect change if they really call upon God?
Well, Trinidad and Tobago, more so Trinidad, has a weapon, all right, of plurality that should be a strength. But because of the divisive nature of the politics, and I don't know watch what happened, but I am Brooklyn and I am seeing it. When LSD celebrates July 27, the coup, every year, nearly for the past 30 years. So you had a new political party joining them, Hope, and you had the remnants of COP, all right? But you realize you had no significant person there in terms of the government. And that is because of the sterile, puerile, all right, rotten approach to nation building that we have. So if your party there and your party pushing that, I can't support you. That has got to be eradicated going forward. And I believe more religious leaders must emphasize that. The politics of the country, all right, is facilitating crime. because it's divisive, it's this side, it's them versus us. And that has got to be eradicated. And pastors who believe in God, who believe, of course, that I must respect convictions. That's the hallmark of religious freedom and religious liberty. We have got to play a role in calling, in speaking truth to power, and telling the politicians who continue to divide us that we will no longer be divided. And I believe, I think sometimes some of us as religious leaders sell out to political parties because of what we can get or what we are getting. And that must end. So we are part of the problem too. All right, instead of being part of the solution, we are part of the problem. So that I am not going to condemn a National Day of Prayer, but what happens after the National Day of Prayer, that must be translated into the communities where you have the crisis. You can't have a National Day of Prayer and telling me you're scared of the bandits and they have guns, etc. Last year I had an experience there where when these young people were being killed, they threatened to wipe out, the guy threatened to wipe out the whole community. And I'm challenging the police to arrest him because it is known he is the one. And they know that he is the one. And yet he's not being arrested. And the next person I have to go to is the Minister of National Security. If you would have an audience with me. Well, I see we have two now. So they should have more time. Each of them should have more time to relate to citizens like me who are in the trenches with people like Officer Shabadi and Director Steve Bing in charge of, you should know him, security at University of the Southern Caribbean. And I'm saying that we have got to move forward. We cannot be silent. We cannot sell our souls because of a benefit to the political directorate. We have got to stand up. Now is the time that we must stand up more than ever. All right? I think of a Pentecostal pastor in California who broke the back of school violence in a place called San Luis Obispo County. All right? He got retired members from his church to go there at lunchtime in the schools. In other words, start where you could start. You can't change the whole thing overnight because this decline took place over a number of decades and it wouldn't be solved. It would take about 10 years.
It has to be intentional because we have some of these programs. You have religious groups going into our secondary schools. You have RI. But is it that we're just doing these things and we're not intentional? We don't have set goals.
Natalie, let me come to that. Doing RI doesn't really cut it, unless you're appealing, responding to the issues. So that, all right, let's say the Hindu guy goes in a Christian-dominated school. He has about 6 people, so he relates to the 6 people. The Pentecostal might have about 50. The Adventist might have about 30. All right, so you're doing religious instruction. But even that has to be changed. There was one prime minister who I think wanted intentionality and change the focus of that religious instruction period. That was Patrick Manning. And I went with a fellow called Keller, who is dead now, at the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus. And Manning was saying, let us start to pay religious instruction instructors. Let us start to pay the RI. In other words, he was calling for a greater level of professionalism in it. So I think the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Youth must form an alliance, all right, and Ministry of Ecclesiastical Affairs, which may still be under the domain of the Prime Minister. I am saying, let us form that alliance and restructure that whole RI program, not just to deal with the few people from our religion or the many who may be there, if you have a majority in that school, but to look at the critical issues and combining resources together within each of the secondary schools primarily, because you still have primary school, or I hear a lot of vaping in the primary school too. So I want the Ministry of Education, I want tutor. There are reports coming of increased smoking via vaping in our primary schools. So I'm sounding an alarm on that, all right? I'm sounding an alarm on that. But in terms of our secondary schools where you have gang violence going on there too, that the religious instructors should come together and look at the situation holistically and not just be concerned with teaching our particular doctrine.
As we have to stick a pin here, we are going for a break, and when we return, we continue a very interesting conversation with Pastor Dutton this morning.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning.
I'm a place.
Are you ready to optimize your wedding business for engagement season and book more clients? Refine is the place to be. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024 from 9 a.m. Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. This premier event is designed specifically for Caribbean wedding industry professionals. Gain expert insights, practical knowledge, and valuable connections that can help you thrive in the destination wedding market. Register now at refinesummit.com. It is time to refine. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Get insider info, advice, and insights from local, regional, and international players in the destination wedding market. Refine, the Wedding Business Summit. Saturday, 14th September 2024, Pigeon Point Heritage Park, Tobago. It's time to refine.
Get ready for the I Choose Sport Summer of Sport. And we're bringing the action to Tobago on Saturday, August 3rd. Win great cash prizes in our football tournament and show off your track and field skills. Have fun with our traditional and novelty games, bouncy castles, giveaways, and so much more. Meet some of our Tobago sporting legends up close. It all happens at the Montgomery Recreation Grounds from 10 a.m. on Saturday, August 3rd. See you there.
Go in. You have to stop it. You have to stop it. Welcome to my kitchen, guys. You have to stop it again. That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you for staying with us, and we continue our conversation this morning with Pastor Clive Dutton, and we are speaking about crime. Pastor Dutton, you mentioned, the contribution, that can come from schools, if it is we are more intentional. Now, I want us to narrow in on Tobago a bit. I always say Tobago is very small, and you have that culture, although it is changing, it's still present in most of the villages, if I may say, where when an outsider comes in. And I always give the example for Charlottesville. If you drive into Charlottesville village, it's one way in, that one way out, and you are not from there, before you get to the gas station or the jetty, everybody knows an outsider is in, And when we look at how Tobago is and the culture of Tobago, the traditions where, the family lineage and connection is important. People usually ask, what is your family name? Who is your father? And they interrogate you in that line. When we have the crime increasing in Tobago, we are up to, and we want to focus on murders because that's the increase in violent crime and the guns, etc. Somehow, we are up to 15, 16 about. And I want us to look at the homes now, because I believe that, and I want to phrase it correctly, our young people who are getting into crime, it's not just happening overnight. And many of us know who have the guns. Many of us know who is, the perpetrators of the crime, and we don't say anything. And maybe for various reasons. How do we get back that closeness, that kind of network where, we say, hey, we are not standing for this. This is not who we are as a people. And you mentioned, coming together and that unity. How do we get that back? And I want us to look at the influence or the contributions homes can make in the fight against crime.
Well, I think you have touched a major issue this morning in terms of homes, in terms of how we operated in our homes, how the parents operate. But I want to say this, sir. And my first answer is a deadly answer, and that is, remember, There are crime is intergenerational. Again, the negative elements have gone ahead. So you have grandparents involved in crime, parents involved in crime, and grandchildren involved in crime. This is what makes it so difficult in Trinidad to deal with. I think, as you quite rightly said, Tobago still has some pristine virtue in it, but it's been penetrated. So that I call for support groups among parents, greater level of marriage enrichment programs within the churches, a strengthening of families that are weaker, especially single parent homes. Now, I don't know if you ever heard me say this, Natalie, but there was a case in Tobago I got involved in last year. And I got involved because the mother of the children, the single mother. So we have to look at single mothers. We have got to look at double parents, binary homes. We have got to look at all of that and develop specific strategies to deal with them. But I'll give you one example. This girl has two children for a guy who turned out to be a drug lord. And after I preached at Sandy River, she came to me. She said, Pastor, I lived with a man for 5 years. And the last 2 years, he was planning to kill me. I didn't know. And as I found out, how heavy he was involved in drugs, and he's a pretty rich Afro-Tobagonian. She says, I left him and I moved out with my children. Now she has a lot of faith in God, I could tell you. And she got baptized last year. Revival. I was involved in the climax of the revival. Pastor Cook was doing it on Sunday and Wednesday nights for like 6 months. He's health focused a lot. So that what I'm saying is that we have got to separate, disaggregate what is taking place, all right? And look at all the various types of families. You have the family with the visiting father. You have the family that is seemingly okay with mother and fathers, although some of them are shaking too. And you have the single parent home in the minority of instances where the father is the parent, and you have the majority where the mother is the parent. So I believe we have got to look at the issue of families. And one thing politicians and pastors could combine on is bringing parents and families together and strengthening groups like the parent teacher associations, because that could be a powerful weapon if managed correctly. So I'm saying let us empower the PTAs. Let us empower parent groups and family life groups. Our churches now have family life directors. All right, people look at the family. In some churches, you have men's ministries that I think is a crucial need right now. Huh? So you have women's groups and you have men groups. What we have to do is to empower them, and perhaps the state could play a role in empowering and resourcing these groups. If you don't want to give money, well, at least provide resources like audiovisual aids, for example. Provide counselors to come in, like once a month and speak to these groups. Those are ways we could move forward, because I tell you, we have to strengthen. The home is the number one challenger because we have a lot of broken homes. The 21st century is characterized not just by global warming, but by broken homes, broken families, estranged parents. And this hurts us in the issue against crime, because you can't get a united effort, in terms of against criminal activity in the community and in the criminal activity in the schools that is taking place. I wanted to say something, Natalie, about RI again.
Mm-hmm.
Some church people are discouraged because of the high level of indiscipline in the school. And one reason why they're discouraged, they're only there for like 45 minutes, all right, on an average. One reason why they're discouraged is that the teachers seldom play a role in RI.
Yeah. Oh.
So when you have, like, I went Mokurapo Composite, all right, and I had a very dysfunctional girl who was disrupting the whole class. There was not one teacher around to help me. All right,
because
not one teacher.
The teachers use that as a break, Pastor Dutton. They are glad when you have those sessions, non-teaching period, and it's hands off. And again, we talk about being intentional many times. And I mean, I'm hearing you talking about unity and these things, but nobody wants to do the work. So where are we going to really start?
Well, I am saying, and I am hoping that Mount St. George becomes a great pilot project. But myself and Brother Bing and a few other people, Rondell Fields has been in there too. We want to form a Life Hope Center in there. In fact, I went to Faith Be Israel and told her, let us have a wellness center. Let us establish the first wellness center to deal with addiction and crime and everything one time. And she said she would welcome that. I've been a bit slow in coming because I'm so downright busy. But in September, I'm going to approach Faith Be Israel and ask her to fulfill her promise, and let us plan together to set up a pilot project. I think we should have pilot projects across Sonny Craig. All right, I've spoken to me what's happening in the west of Tobago and the criminality. We know Mount St. George at one time was considered the home of guns and ammunition, but the west has been penetrated a long while now, and also by Trinidadians, I want to say. Okay, so that I'm saying that the recruitment strategies of the local mafia must be challenged by the recruitment strategies of mainstream community, the church, the home, and the school. That triangulation is what will help us win the battle, because we are losing the battle right now.
Definitely. And when you look at combining those three areas, again, it brings your point into reality in terms of the unity working together. And many of us seem hopeless because when we look at the changes, but I always try to encourage us. The solution starts with us. We have beautiful roundtables. As Trinbagonians, we know how to speak eloquently. We come up with, or we are good at identifying the problems. But when it comes to finding the solutions and then implementing it, there's usually a breakdown there. So I want you this morning to use your influence. We don't know who's listening. Just encourage, whether it's that NGO president or someone who's thinking of, they maybe studied a particular area and want to contribute. How do we really rally people to get on board and to effect change?
I would say start with, up in Picton Road there was a group called Gospel in the Bones, a Seventh-day Adventist group, a support group, and they brought me inside Picton, and I started with 2 families, all right, 2 families. And that family is doing pretty well right now. One of those families. The other family kind of fell off their edge, but they're trying to pull themselves back together. But I want to tell NGOs, start with one person at a time. I've adopted a 9-month-old baby in the land in Ganglang territory in Tunapuna, 9-year-old child. I help to support that child. I want to give that child a fighting chance. For example, her uncle was shot and killed. He was shot in his right eye and killed in a merciless fashion. And I was helping him for 3 months. So start with one child. Start with one family. All right, don't try to change your whole world overnight. That, as you said, it wouldn't happen. So start with one person. And by the way, I want to tell you about young people. I have been involved with over 40 years in young people. I'm no longer the youth director, but I stay focused on trying to rescue young people in troubled situations. Young people see right through us. There's a lot of hypocrites trying to talk change to young people, and they don't role model the change in their own lifestyle. But I am saying start with one. All right? The power of one. Start with one. And that will spread like a wildfire. Start with one. It will take time. Don't put over pressure on yourself by trying to change your whole community one time. Start with one person. Start with one family. Start with one school. Start with one church. Start with one village. And then it will spread. And be committed and be consistent. And make sure God is on your side. Let me say the last thing here. I know our time is running out. It is demons roaming the land too, Let us not forget the supernatural in this whole thing. It's a great controversy and expression that we Adventists are very accustomed to. It's a great controversy. And the demons are telling the young people that they're winning. They're on the winning side. They will get rich if they follow them. All right. And many young people don't know about demons, about blood drinking, about the secret orders, about the lodges, about the godfathers. We have got to redefine that for them. And I'm saying to all of us that we can win the battle by God's grace. And by the way, church, let us not hide behind prophecy as an excuse for our inertia, for being passive, for doing absolutely nothing and saying, well, it forecasted in the Bible. The same Bible says we must go to all the world and every nation and every tongue and every community and every village. It's the same Bible that says God will pour His Spirit upon us to make a difference. It's the same Bible that says we must teach, preach, and baptize. It's the same Bible that says that God will be with you and protect you. It's the same Bible that promises victory in the name of Jesus. God bless you.
I have to say amen to that, Pastor. Thank you so much. And I don't have anything to add to that, but I want to remind our viewers that line you shared with us, the power of one. I think it runs deep, and if we really internalize it, we understand how powerful that can become, the power of one. Don't try to change the world overnight, but you do what you can in your corner, the power of one. Thank you so much, Pastor Dutton, for spending this hour with us. We appreciate it, and we ask God's continued blessings over what you do in your ministry as well.
God bless. God bless.
Viewers, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. It's just about that time when we have to say goodbye. I want to wish you a beautiful and blessed Monday morning. And I want you to remember as you go through this day and you try to stay as safe as you can, the power of one. Thank you for being with us this morning.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor, to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Last year, October 2023, the island tilted. The peaceful bliss of sea, sun, and sand was transcended as we took to the streets to revel in paradise.
We love Tobago Carnival!
Tobago! It's such a nice place!
Tobago Carnival, right here. We're not leaving till we go right down.
It's the greatest, it's the best, it's safe, and it's beautiful.
I love Tobago, baby. Coming back next year. Hey!
Playing pan on the streets is a magical experience. When the band strike up, is rhythm, steel, and powder. This is Tobago Carnival, pan in paradise.
Tobago is the best.
Tobago Carnival is the new home for the legend of Calypso. Where else can you get sweet Calypso music that gives you that nostalgic feeling?
Soca Titans is we title, is we monarch. We built artists from scratch who can perform with the best. Real titans of soca.
When last you've been to a party, plenty women looking so nice. We must be in paradise.
This year, ritual takes on new space and dimension. Traditions will be reimagined, breaking free and taking on new meaning on the road.
I love the energy! This year, the revelry is bigger and better. More colors, more meaning, great packages for the masqueraders. Tobago Carnival is freedom.
This year promoting safety in all events for Tobago Carnival. This year promoting whining, not minding people business. This year promoting clean fun, security and freedom.
Freedom to be any version of yourself that you choose to be with love and safety. Here, you have permission to be you, uninhibited and free.
So what you waiting on? This year, this October 2024, experience the ritual, revel in paradise, release yourself. From the greatest little island on the planet, this is the Tobago Carnival 2024.
Every time